Even now, there are people that still believe that a worship song has to be slow. And besides that, there are people that still believe that worship is music. There are people that cannot identify worship with anything except singing. Even now, I still go to churches and they're like, let's get a worship song. And someone sings a slow song, which is not a worship song. It's a prayer song, or it's a thanksgiving song, or it's a praise song. But they identify it as worship, even though the message is not worship, just because the song is slow.
I was telling someone with a particular event, and I'm like, one thing that God did very well is create women. Is the most beautiful creature that He's ever. But how do you maintain a discipline and focus? I need to remain focused and disciplined, which is a bigger struggle, most especially for bass players. How do you?
Is it for who?
Bass players. Apparently, keyboard players now are joining in, but think deeply about that. What is the discipline?
Yeah, there's a verse that says, to whom much is given, much is required. So if you have been given a gift of being in front of people, being an example, leading people, much is required from you, and that includes discipline. Themba, it's not easy.
Yeah.
It's not easy. I tell you, it's not easy. Sometimes we fall from grace. Yeah. But also, there's another answer in the Bible to say a righteous man falls 7 times, and 7 times he will rise again. It's grace. Yeah. It's grace. It's a daily fight, man.
It's a daily fight. Yeah. I think what helped me is not having money.
I think that formula helps. Now that you said it, I'm thinking about myself. Okay, is it when you can afford certain things, then you stay away from?
I had different phases in my life where I had money and access to things, and there was a time where I did not. And my choices of women remained the same. And I forgot that this particular you can't maintain. But for a Christian, having money, having fame, having DMs, having all of these things, what is the one thing that reminds you and say, dude, don't go there?
The first thing that comes to me is, now they will think I'm the same with the world. So that's, for me, I think that's the first thing that comes, because I don't want to have that kind of a reputation. Do you get what I'm saying? So for me, I'm scared of those things, to say, you know what if it's a trap?
I got trapping DNA, turn my worries into plays.
This is about it, and I'm about to break through, and I'm not letting go.
God does His best work with broken people.
He chose me to do it. He didn't choose me to do it perfectly. He chose me to do it.
What moment was that?
And to a point where they were saying, turn around and doing this, I learned it later. They were saying, repeat the chorus, loop it. I turned around to my whole body. I was so embarrassed.
Another episode of the Evolution Lounge. I'm excited today to have this young man who's been in the game for a long, long time. Is a man that I watch from a distance, and I admire how he sustains his career, how he carries himself. I personally, worked behind the scenes on some of the shows that he's done, organized interviews, and is always showing up. And it's some of the conversation we're going to have. And today I'm speaking to psalmist Dakindo. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for the brother. How are you doing, my brother?
I'm blessed, man. I'm so excited to be here at the Evolution Lounge. It's really, really exciting. It's something that I'm not really used to, but I feel at home.
You've been doing a lot of interviews. I mean, you've done a lot of radio.
I think I've avoided this kind of...
Okay. And I'm interested to know the podcast type. They put you on the spot.
Yeah, exactly. So I think I've tried to avoid them. But with you somehow, I'm like, okay, I know it's Themba. So I hope I hope I can still trust you.
The most dangerous.
We'll see how it goes. But the welcome that you gave me, I'm really excited.
No, great to have you. I'll try and behave myself. Thank you so much. And this is really what I want to have a conversation with you about, I know a lot of people, you've spoken a lot about, your background and, where you come from in so many interviews that you've done. And I think the reason why we have you here today is really to get into the gist of, the sustaining, your brand while in the worship, kind of staying in the music space, right? And I think you've done that quite well. And there must be a lot that goes on behind the scenes. And I'll let you share it. But where I want us to start, though, I want to know, when was your biggest hit where you felt like, actually, I'm Dakindo? I know maybe your first album, you were still like, hey, you sing and then there's like 5 people and then you do maybe. When was the big break where you were like, okay, here I'm Taki?
Yeah. Well, honestly, I think contrary to what people know, because a lot of people started really, really knowing me and paying attention to me after we released Babeng Seed, which is one of my biggest hits. But I wouldn't say that's the song that really, really made me to be recognized. For me, it was in 2013. So 2013, I was releasing I had given up on the industry actually, because I was 9 years into the industry. 2013, so I'm like, it's just hand to mouth, it's not working. So I'm like, let me release my last album. So that's the album which was like a rebrand or a rebirth, and we titled it Psalmist. So it was self-titled. Psalmist. And then we had a song titled Redefining. That's the time that we were still doing music videos.
The music video days.
The music videos that time, they were like, you have to do a proper music video. So we did a nice proper music video for Redefining. So, and the album won me in 2013 and 2014. That album won me 14 awards.
What?
One album.
14
awards. So I had 3 Crown Awards. I had 3 Ingomas. I had 2 Mzansi Gospel Award. I had a Metro FM. And remember, Metro FM that time, they only had 1 gospel category. That was it. And we managed to win that award also. So for me, I feel like that was the biggest break.
This was in 2013 or 2014? We
released the album in 2013. Some of the awards were 2013 and 2014, but with the same album.
This is really amazing for me. And I want to get to that point where you're talking about giving up. You were in the industry for 9 years. Doing what?
That 9 years we had done street promos. We used to go all over the country, taxi ranks, shopping centers. We go with plug-in speakers. We perform. People come and buy CDs. That's what we were doing for 9 years, and that was it. And at that time, I believe we were still doing like one of the best music. I believe our productions was like top, but we were not getting radio play. We were not getting on TV. We were submitting. We got there. And the other thing that I remember they once told us when we submitted our music for TV, they're like, no, you guys are singing in Fender. So no one will listen to your stuff. So that was a bit discouraging, but it was also a blessing in disguise because, it made us to work 10 times harder than the other artists. And I still believe that probably I still have that in me. You get what I'm saying? Because of the language barrier, because of the tribalism. So it made us to say, okay, let's learn other languages then. Let's put in Zulu songs, Xhosa songs, Sotho, so that they can listen to us. And once we started doing that, that's when they're like, oh, okay, they give us an ear. When they give you an ear, then you throw in your one vendor song. You see? So
just come home, So the other stuff is just a bait to
exactly, for people to get to listen to us. You get what I'm saying?
And it's very interesting because you guys are coming from, and it's a story that I really want us to get into. Genesis is very important. And you guys get in studio and you're like, we can play proper. You can do the hottest intro. You've checked all of these big artists and you can check the intro, but the reception is not there. When you come out of studio and you're like, this is going to be a hit, and then it's not a hit. And only to find that it's a language barrier.
Yeah, that's all it was.
It's not because the music wasn't good enough. What is that discrimination doing in general in the music industry? More especially for the minority, the more, your Tsonga, your Pedi, Venda. What is that doing? What are we missing there in terms of tribalism in the music space?
Yeah, I mean, we're missing a lot of quality. We're missing a lot, also the message. But somehow I still understand if a Xhosa person is not necessarily willing to listen to a Venda song. You would understand somehow because they don't understand the language. So I think we have to break the tribalism barrier. Hence, I have learned to just make my albums very, very multilingual.
Okay.
So in my albums, you're gonna find Shona, you're gonna find Swahili, you're gonna find Xhosa, Zulu, Sotho, Venda, Swati.
Wow.
So I've always in my albums now, I make sure that I have over 7 languages.
Wow.
To be able to minister to all different kinds of tribes. It's because if you just stick to your language, there is that limitation, and I don't think there's much we can do about it because people don't understand.
Yeah.
They are probably willing to, but they just don't have the time to learn the language.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So for me, it's just a matter of breaking to say, okay, I understand I'm Venda, but I'm not gonna sing to my Venda people only.
Yeah.
I have to minister to everyone in broad spectrum.
Yeah. Okay. So when now you get into 2013, what language was that? You said which song was that?
It was still a Venda song.
So what happened? Because now you come from a place where you're told, no, you know what, the language is limiting, so we can't. There's no audience, or the audience is much more minimal. But you still continue, and then this is the one that won you 9 awards. And then what happens? What broke? What was the?
I think actually I think the simplicity.
Okay.
The lyrics were very simple. It was just Riaribua, yes, so Riaribua, yes, so that was it. That was it. Yeah. So I think the simplicity, it was just 2 lines. The simplicity of the song, that's what made people relate to it.
Yeah.
You get what I mean? So 2 people could understand it is Rialibua, Rialebuha.
Yeah.
It sounded the same.
Yeah.
And then it was just a bit of other tribes that you would have to explain the song to. But
Yeah.
I think for me, what made the song to get traction was the simplicity.
Yeah.
That's when I also learned to, okay, maybe let me keep it simple, just simple lines for everyone to understand. The same thing that happened when later on I did Unandaba nane yeso Unandaba nane. So that's when now I learned, okay, let me just keep my Venda songs simple so that everyone can be able to listen.
Jump
yeah.
in.
Yeah.
Okay, so and I'm really trying to get to lead you to the ingredients of understanding something that comes overnight and what happens behind the scenes. And you think someone just made it, and you don't know the process. And the process is what I want to talk about. And you are saying that in 2013, the song, you just simplified it. But when you went in studio before, one of the biggest, I think for you guys were very musical. And maybe thinking that you guys being musical will get you a play. Will get you out there. We've killed it. And I think some of the problems we're having today is the ability to read the room, even in churches. Can our grandparents sing the song? Can the kids sing the songs? Am I able to worship, using that song? And I think for you, it was the greatest lesson that it was not the industry per se. It was not that you were there for long, but you needed to learn something about it.
Thank you, sir.
Right? Yeah. And which is now the second thing I want to talk to you about when it comes to church music. and I will give my personal opinion. The groups that we used to sing along in churches, in Sunday school, I remember every time they release songs, once they launched that album, every worship team is jumping on it, But today, the intros are just so complicated. The chorus and then is taking another verse, and we are not able to do that. Where are we missing it between worship and taking the talent into the musical part of it? And what are some of the teachings that we need to have in that space? Yeah,
man, I think it's one of the conversations I was having just last week with my MD, my music director. I've been working with him for 16 years now.
Okay.
So he's the same person that I work with when I do my albums. So we were talking and we were just trying to analyze the industry, what's happening in the gospel industry and all of that. Yeah. And we came to the same conclusion to say, I think it's better to keep it simple. It's better to keep it simple for the ear, because sometimes, yes, there are songs where in my album I allow the band to express themselves. And that is musical. Those songs are for us. Yeah, they are for other fellow artists, fellow musicians. You see, but the holistic album is meant for the people. I'm not doing music for myself.
And for other musicians as well.
Exactly.
Doing music for musicians.
We're doing music for people out there. You get what I'm saying? So it has to be friendly to the ear.
Yeah.
You can't make it complicated, because actually people don't have time now.
Yeah.
People don't have time to be listening to those intros and all of that. They just want a simple message, straightforward, and that's it. They will consume it. But if you make it too complicated, then it becomes too difficult for also people to consume.
Yeah. So what is the conversation you're having with your MD? Your MD wants to be inspired. He wants to break out of the box. He wants to, showcase his talent. And then you are saying, look, calm down, boss. How does he take it? And the rest of the band?
Actually, he totally agreed with me. And he was like, I think with the next album, let's try and take it back. How the music was back then. The music back then, already the intro you are singing along. Yeah. But now you can't sing along with an intro. It's impossible, because the intros are complicated, the chords there. Even for me as an artist, sometimes I get lost. They have to count me in, like, come in now. Then I start singing. But back then, a normal Magogo at home, once the intro is playing, she can hear which song it is. She's singing along. Do you get what I'm saying? Yeah. So those are the discussions we're having, and we're like, okay, let's try. Actually, I said this. Can we do an album without chops? That's a drum language. So I'm like, can we do an album without chops? Because back then we had albums that were straightforward. The drama is just straightforward, simple. When you listen to the music, you just listen to the message, because everything just moves together. It's simple. But right now, when you listen to a song, you might miss the message, because now you are listening to the drums, you are listening to the guitar and all of that. Exactly. You see? So I'm like, no, I think with our next album, let's try and take it back. Simplicity. Once you play an intro, I must hear the song in the intro.
And everybody else must be able to even relate, to say, this is a song I can sing along. And it's easier to kind of receive that generally. But I think it's a much more sensitive conversation for the gospel, because gospel is not really about, or it's not necessarily about show off. Is you are serving. And serving means that you are there as a vessel. And so now when you serve, people must be able to plug in.
Exactly.
And so that then in them plugging in, they can then operate.
Exactly.
But if it's difficult for people to then plug in, it means then you are serving yourself and you are actually being selfish. How do you then, have that conversation either with yourself to say that worship is worship, and what is worship actually first? Back in the day, before, I wouldn't necessarily say it's ignorance, but lack of knowledge. Worship, it's a tempo. For us, it was tempo, and then praise was, it's 120. Yeah.
I wouldn't say it was ignorance because even now, there are people that still believe that a worship song has to be slow. And besides that, there are people that still believe that worship is music. There are people that cannot identify worship with anything except singing. You see, so for me, I don't think it's a matter of back then. Even now, I still go to churches and they're like, let's get a worship song, and someone sings a slow song, which is not a worship song. It's a prayer song, or it's a thanksgiving song, or it's a praise song. Wow. But they identify it as worship, even though the message is not worship, just because the song is slow. So it's still that one is still happening in a lot of places.
What is worship?
Worship is a reference to God. Worship is when everything you do exalts the King of Kings, exalts Jesus, exalts God. For me, that is worship. When you are giving, if you are giving your money, you cannot sing. You are not an intercessor. The best thing you can do at church is to give money. That is a form of worship. That is when you worship God. You're like, I honor you, I glorify you. And how do you worship God? Your means of worshiping God is money. So when you are giving with your heart, when you are giving with all you have, and you are doing it to exalt the King of Kings, you are doing it to exalt God. For me, that is worship. Wow. You know what I'm saying? I'm giving that example, which is far apart from music, so that we can understand.
So worship is not what we know as singing, and is not actually worship is living a lifestyle that exalts Christ, the kingdom of God. That is worship.
Worship.
With or without the music.
Exactly. I mean, I always give reference to, where we come from the villages, we have kings. We are in Africa, we have kings all over. When you go to the king, before you see the king, you must be praising him and be worship the king. You see, in where I come from, in my village, Amucha, we have a king. If I'm going to the king to ask for a stand for land, I must get in, praise the king, kakamera mohari chidada, you see, that's when you get access now to the king through your praise and the worship that you give to the king. Now they are able to open doors for you and say, hey king, there's someone who is here to see you. You get what I'm saying? So that's, if you don't, it doesn't matter who you are, it doesn't matter whether you've got a lot of money, or you've got a big name than the king and the king is not known. If you don't praise the king, if you don't honor the king, you cannot see him. No. You don't have a choice. That's how our African tradition is.
You don't recognize him.
Exactly. You get what I'm saying?
Authority.
So that is how you get in the presence of a king. And also the Bible says that he dwells in the praises of his people. You get what I'm saying? So you cannot have access to God without praise and worship. You get what I'm saying? And praise, when you go to the king, it's not necessarily singing. It's also what you are saying, what you are doing. Maybe you've brought presents, you've brought gifts and all of that. That's how you honor the king, and they open a door for you. Now you are able to sit with the king.
This is so powerful. And that is why I'm saying our voice of reason today is mic is off. And it's one guy who gives that voice of reason many days. He needs to get a mic. Who's supposed to give these teachings? Because these are very important teachings. Because decades and decades we are moving every single Sunday, and yet we don't understand praise and worship.
I think it's pastors. I think it's church leaders. Those are the people that are supposed to lead the church. So you educate the church. Unfortunately, I think a lot of churches don't. Actually, when I was coming here, I just got a confirmation of a booking to go and facilitate a worship workshop. So these are the things that I will be doing in one of the, if not the biggest church in South Africa. So that's what I will be doing in January. But I've realized that churches don't have time for that. Churches don't have time for that. We just go to church, we sing, praise and worship. We don't even know what it is, but we are just singing as long as it's gospel. We are singing, after that they preach, after that we go. People don't have time. I wish if all churches can just have one, not even a lot of Sundays, just one Sunday. One Sunday, you go and educate people about worship, teach them about different kinds of music, different kind of songs. You get what I'm saying? My song, Unandaba, is not a worship song. That's not a worship song.
But we sing worship.
Yeah,
as a worship.
Exactly. That's a prayer. I've been to churches where they sing it as a worship song. Riani Buayeso, the song that I told you about.
Yes.
It's not a worship song. It's a thanksgiving song.
Wow.
So that's a song when you are appreciating God and thanking God for what He has done.
Wow.
So actually, let me tell you what we did. When at the Crown Awards in 2018, we entered that song as a best praise song. They called me, they're like, are you sure? I'm like, yes. They're like, no, but your song is slow. I'm like, that's a praise song. Listen to the message.
Wow.
And I think it also challenged them because I also won that award. And a lot of people didn't understand, how can you win a praise song with a slow song? I think that was also part of education. People should have learned from that. To say, okay, it's a slow song, but the message is praise. The message is thanksgiving. You see? So I think if we can have just one Sunday, an hour, all churches just teach their people to know worship, that worship is also not music.
Yeah.
So if you can't sing, you can still worship the best way you know how to.
Which, for me, is a very powerful understanding and knowledge that you have. Because, and jumping and getting into how rooted you are in understanding what worship is, number one, in the first place. That is one factor that I think would be keeping you, we say, sustaining you. Because one is, I don't think that then you would be able to praise and worship from a understanding of chords and music, but the next day or the day before, you don't know what worship is.
Yeah.
You can deliver the music.
Yeah.
Worship teams and worship leaders, what should they do? What is important for them to know? That to be a worshiper, this is the path I need to take, this is a lifestyle I need to take, and for me to remain, consecrated, sanctified. And again, our voice of reason speaks a lot about this. But musicians don't get it. And before we get to this conversation, and I think that is why now there's an issue of money in the being a church musician. And it's a very sensitive conversation that people are having. But as a musician, what do I need to do? To say, or as a singer, if I want to be like Dakindo, what is it that I need to understand to get to that revelation?
Yeah. Well, for me, like you said, you need to be rooted, obviously, in the Word of God. When we're doing gospel or when you are leading worship, you're a worship leader at church, you have to be rooted in the Word of God first. You have to have a relationship with God because you can not sing about someone that you don't know. And which is what's happening a lot these days. People are singing about a God that they don't have a relationship with. You have to know God for yourself. There was a point, I think that was a life-changing decision I ever took, to say, I don't want to know God that I'm hearing about. I was tired of hearing that God can do this, God can do this, God is this, God is this. But when I'm myself, I'm like, okay, I don't know these things that I've not experienced them. And that's when my prayer to God was like, I want to know you for me. I want to know, when I speak about God, I'm speaking based on my experience and my relationship with Him. For me, that's the first thing that you need to develop. Once you know God for yourself, that's when you are able to express yourself based on the knowledge and understanding and the relationship that you have with God. Then it's easier to lead people into worship because you are leading them to someone that you already know.
There's a relationship.
You get what I'm saying? So I always tell people that if you want to know me, if you want to know Dakindo, it's very simple. If you go to my music, you can, if you are very, very analytical, you can get to know my life story with my music. Trust me. Trust me. From that song, I was thanking God about the houses. I'm like, thank you for the houses that I have. Thank you for the roof above my head. Thank you for the food. Thank you for the families. Thank you for the cars. I mentioned simple, general things. When I said those things, I didn't have none of that. I didn't have a car. I didn't have a house. I didn't have nothing. I was using a taxi. Sometimes I would sleep without food for a day or two. You get what I'm saying? That's when I wrote the song. And I was being prophetic. Yes. Wow. So I was being prophetic to my own life. And a year later, those things started manifesting physically. those things started manifesting physically. You get what I'm saying? So that's when the next album, I wrote Unandaba. I wrote He Can Do Anything. I wrote Litadulu Lofure, which means the heavens are open, because now there's manifestation of the things I prayed for.
Now there's a follow-up.
Yes, there's a follow-up. Yes, do you get what I'm saying? So I always tell people, if you want to know me, listen to my music. You will know me like my life. So for me also, that can tell you of the relationship that I have with God. The songs that I write, I think it's my testimonies, it's my prayers, thanksgiving, whatever it is, it's about my relationship with God. So for me, I would encourage someone to say, where you start is to develop your relationship with God. And then after that, that's when it's easier for you to talk to people about the God that you know and they have experienced.
This is so powerful. And it's to recap to the conversation that we're having. What makes a musician sustained, especially in the worship? And we're moving with Taki, and I think some of these things that he's talking about is part of the ingredients that puts you, in a place where you would say, I'm fully booked. And not only fully booked, but I am tired, but I'm willing to go in tomorrow. And so with that, Taki, and like I said, we, especially this episode, it's for me having to have a full understanding and having to educate young musicians. Now there's a conversation of whether musicians should get paid or not.
Okay.
And what you were talking about when talking about worship and exaltation, it's more of giving and acknowledging the presence of God. Should we then be having that conversation?
I don't know if we should have
salary.
I don't know if we should be having the conversation or we shouldn't be having the conversation, but unfortunately we are at a point where the conversation is happening. And I think the Bible has all the answers. The Bible has all the answers. Some of the answers that are in the Bible, we don't like them, but they are there. Yes, but at the same time, I will answer your question.
Sure.
But I think it also comes to personal conviction. You get what I'm saying? But also I believe that it's up to churches. Some churches believe in paying musicians that are playing there or that are singing there. And I believe it's right. You get what I'm saying? There are churches that don't believe in paying musicians. Do I think it's right? Do I agree with them? Maybe they are like me. They feel that when you are at church, you must give back with the gift that God has given you. But if you can see that Taki is here at church, he does not have gigs, he's not being booked anywhere, I feel like the church should make it a point that at least they support you financially. It's there in the Bible. The Levites are supposed to be supported there at the church. They're supposed to eat from the church and all of that. It's there in the Bible. It's there. It's written. That verse is there. So I believe that if you can see that someone is this is their gift, this is all they do, I believe that churches should support them. I don't know whether if it should be in a form of a salary or what, but I just believe that churches should support their musicians financially. Then it's also easier for them to come and freely give their gifts to the church. So I don't know.
No, you've answered it very well, and I love that you've broken it down that way, because for me there are different angles to it. One, what you're saying is, as a worshiper, whether you are doing it at church or you're doing it outside, you have to have a CSI project. You have to have a place where you're saying, here I offer. Whether it's your local church or anywhere else. Even though for you to be able to operate in your gift and for you to go further, for you to feed your children and for you to dedicate yourself, you need to get paid. However, in you getting paid, you still need to somewhere offer. As a sacrifice and as thanksgiving, whether it's your church or not. So there's that happening. And another point that you're making is that the church needs to support the gifts. Actually, I would say empower its people for the work of God to grow and for the work of God, to be able to reach out to many, because the ultimate goal is for souls to get saved, and those that are within the congregations to grow and to remain, rooted in Christ. It's not to say that we need to bully people who are there.
Yeah.
It's to understand that we are all from the body of Christ, because some of these churches are bullying. Musicians are bullying everybody else, and then it becomes, and that is why I guess we're having this conversation.
Exactly. I mean, it's a thin line. There are musicians that are like, if I'm not getting paid, I'm not gonna play.
Yeah.
Yes. So you also find that, okay, now it's like you are just here for the money.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? And there are churches that, like, it doesn't matter how gifted you are, we don't pay musicians in this church. And I feel like, okay, that's also part of bullying now.
Yeah.
You see, because now you expect that gift to operate in your church, but you can't appreciate it. You see, and somehow you can't just appreciate it by words.
Yeah.
You see, also actions. Plant a seed into that, like you said, empower them.
Yeah.
You see, so I totally agree with you.
So Taki.
Yeah.
Who is Taki at home? Generally, when Taki is not on stage, what is your day looking like? What is your week looking like?
Well, at home recently, it's rehearsals, but okay, that's part of music actually.
Yeah.
At home, I'm a very chilled guy. I'm home. I'm watching soccer. If I'm not watching soccer, I love cars.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, I love cars. So I have a gushesh.
Nice.
So yeah, sometimes I just go around for a spin and
Yeah.
you see. So I think my life outside of church and outside of gospel, I think I live like a normal guy. Like a lot of people that see me, like they're like, bro, we didn't know that you just a normal guy like this. And because I always tell my younger brother, who is my road manager, that I don't know how celebrities keep up with the lifestyle. I can't live that. I can't live the celebrity lifestyle, honestly. I can't. I don't think it's for me. I don't think I'm made for it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I made a decision to say, I'm just going to be a normal guy, live a normal lifestyle.
Yeah.
If I want to go somewhere, I'll go.
Yeah.
I won't say, no, I'm Dakindo, I can't go where. You get what I'm saying?
So you don't limit yourself into spaces.
No.
You go where you want to go. You do what you want to do.
Exactly.
So you don't mind pictures and
No,
all of those other
I
things.
don't mind. I mean,
Yeah.
it's people
If you want to
appreciating
buy
it.
quota, you buy quota. If you want to get a guinya,
I don't stay far from Oliven. I go to Oliven, I get scorpo. You see, those are the kind of foods that I eat. Quota, all of that. So that's the lifestyle that I live, and I enjoy that. I just enjoy being a normal guy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Something we don't talk about. We hardly talk about things.
Yeah.
And when I say this is, and I think in general, some black families, we don't talk.
Okay.
We don't come around the table and have conversations. And for me, even church, we don't have certain conversations, right? And which is part of this younger generation and these young kids and everything else, is the issue of adultery and fornication. All right? Being in the space where you are as a gospel artist at the level that you're at, I've seen so many artists, some have worked with them, some I've seen in backstage either alcohol, women or men. That's the greatest downfall. It's nothing else, all right? It's those two. Either there's intoxication or something like that, or it's just, sexual activities, all right? But I'm a human being. I get tired, I need energy to work and go forward, and I lust, I was telling someone with a particular event, and I'm like, one thing that God did very well is create women is the most beautiful creature that He's ever created. And whether you like it or not, He created that.
No, definitely.
But how do you maintain a discipline and focus to know, in or out, I need to remain focused and discipline, which is a bigger struggle, most especially for bass players. How do you
Is it for
bass players? Apparently, keyboard players now are joining in, but bass is
now
a problem.
Start thinking about my bass players.
Think deeply about that.
Yeah.
Think deeply about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. What is the discipline? How do I keep myself grounded? Is it something I need to write it down to remind myself? Because it's not always that I'm ready for marriage. I may not want to get married now. I may not want to commit, but I want to serve. I'm ready to serve. I'm ready to be, on stage. I'm ready. But now, hey, that's problematic. Yeah.
Yeah. No. That's a that's a big one.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's one of the biggest challenges that we have in the industry, and I cannot say that I've mastered it. Yeah, I cannot say that I am immune from that, or I've conquered this thing.
Yeah.
For me, I think it's a daily struggle.
Yeah.
Every day you have to wake up and you have to pinch yourself and say, hey, I'm still the same guy. Yeah. I'm still going to see women and all of that. How do I react and all of that? So I think I cannot say I don't face those things. I do face those things, but it's just a matter of always reminding yourself who you are and what you represent. Always when you remind yourself, it's easier to say, okay, fine, you know what, I'm getting tempted here. Yeah, I'd love to, but okay, let me turn.
How do you do it? This is very important. If I'm misquoting this scripture, if it means something else, for me, it works in different things that what I want to do, I don't do.
Exactly.
Right? So I want to remain pure and focused, not only because of God I've heard about, to punish me, but for myself, but as a discipline. What are some of the steps that to say, look, I'm Taki. Is it to watch your reputation? Is it to watch your energy? Is it to, saying that this is part of discipline, I don't want to be distracted? What are those steps, and how do you actually approach and conquer that?
Yeah, there's a verse that says, to whom much is given, much is required. So if you have been given a gift of being in front of people, being an example, leading people, much is required from you, and that includes discipline. So discipline comes to place when you are faced with those temptations. That's when you have to now apply discipline. If you are not facing, if I'm not meeting women that wants me, if women are not DMing me, sending pictures and all of that, you get what I'm saying? There's no need for discipline because no one wants you. You get what I'm saying? You need discipline when people now are faced with it. Now women are like, hey, bro, I'm here. When can I see you? You get what I'm saying? That's when now you have to now go back to who you are to say, okay, to whom?
It's not every call that comes you need to respond to.
Themba, it's not easy. Yeah. It's not easy. I tell you, it's not easy. Sometimes we fall from grace. Yeah. But also, there's another answer in the Bible to say a righteous man falls 7 times, and 7 times he will rise again. You see? So sometimes, if you fall into the temptation, forgive yourself. Okay. Go to God, because it's a matter of the heart also. Okay. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? Don't judge yourself. You see, don't beat yourself and think, this is it with me. Now you give up and you throw yourself in the world. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah. Which then leads you to backslide.
The first option is to apply self-control, self-discipline. Okay. But like I'm saying, I cannot say I've mastered it. It's grace. Yeah. It's grace. It's a daily fight, man.
It's a daily fight. Yeah. I think what helped me is not having money.
Yeah. I think that helps also. Yeah. No. I think that helps. No. I think that formula helps. Now that you said it, I'm thinking about myself. Okay, is it when you can afford certain things, then you stay away from? No, don't do it. Yeah.
Because if it wasn't those parts, because I had different phases in my life where I had money and access to things, and there was a time where I did not. And my choices of women remained the same, you know, and I forgot that this particular you can't maintain.
Yeah.
And that is why I'm saying that there must be something that says to you, no, you're not ready. You can't do this. And when I say for me is to remind myself, say, Themba, so don't do it. But for a Christian, having money, having fame, having DMs, having all of these things, what is the one thing that reminds you and say, dude, don't go there?
For me, it's always the fact that I'm representing God.
Okay.
Is the fact that people know me as a gospel artist, people know me as a worship leader. The first thing that comes to me is, now they will think I'm the same with the world. So that's, for me, I think that's the first thing that comes. Like, even yesterday, we were in a gig somewhere and this woman came into the car. She's like, hey, can I give you my number? Hey. Do you get what I'm saying? And I looked at her. She's beautiful, beautiful body, all of that. And my road manager is there. He's laughing. So the first thing that came to me was, okay, I can give her my number.
Yeah.
And we start talking, and she screenshots those things. She posts on social media. So for me, that is my biggest fear. So I think that is what keeps me disciplined most of the time. To say, you know what, because I don't want to have that kind of a reputation. Do you get what I'm saying? So for me, I'm scared of those things, to say, you know what if it's a trap?
Yeah.
You see, what if it's a setup? Those are the things that I always think. I'm like, okay, you know what, I can't.
Yeah.
You see, so if
there's a lot to lose.
Yeah, if there's a woman in my life, or I must be with someone, I must have made the choice myself, and I must have walked there myself and approached that person. Yeah. So anyone that approaches me, for me, it's a no-no.
It's a no-go.
It's because I'm thinking, okay, this might be a trap, this might be a setup.
Yeah.
So for me, I think that's what helps me a little bit.
Okay. So I want to close this, and I want you to give our viewers, and I like to say who I am, not necessarily by age, but young, they can be first album, it can be, a dream that they're still thinking to do. And I don't think a lot of people understand what it takes and the cost of being on stage. It's not just the performance or the cost of fame. It's very costly. And I would want you to maybe give us a couple of nuggets, to give advice to those young, up and coming. One, in the music space. Two, in the relationship with God. And to say, if you want to get into this, this is how you need to, approach it. And you will face 1, 2, 3, and then this is how you tackle it. What would be your nuggets on that?
Yeah, I mean, there is a statement that Bishop Benjamin Ndou likes to say, talent will take you to the stage, it will take you to a certain level, but character will keep you there. If you don't have the right character, you will get there, but because there's no character to keep you there, then you will go down. And do you get what I'm saying? And I think that was the biggest downfall for a lot of artists, either gospel or secular. You get what I'm saying? Because they had the gift took them to the top, but they didn't have the character to keep them there, then they always come down. And one of my biggest prayers to God was, I don't want to be like a one-hit wonder. I don't want to come 5 years and 5 years I'm gone. That was my biggest prayer, and I thank God that I met the right mentors. You get what I'm saying? I've had Taps David mentoring me. I've had Bishop Benjamin Ndou. I've had Abo Jabu Tlongwane. I've had Abo Soli Mahlangu. Those are the people that when I came into the industry, I tried to hang around to get the right mentorship, which is one of the advices that I'm giving to young people, to say, get a mentor. Get someone that you see that they've been here, they've been through it, they've walked the journey, they're still standing. Get those kind of people to mentor you. Don't get someone who you are probably still on the same level and you call them a mentor. Because on which journey are they mentoring you on? You get what I'm saying? So for me, mentorship is really, really, really important. It's one of the things that I feel every musician, every artist should have. Get a mentor that has walked the journey, that faced the challenges. I mean, there are challenges that I was about to face, and because I had these mentors around me, they were able to guide me to say, no, you cannot go through this. I already went through it, and this is how I conquered it. So this is how you can avoid it. You get what I'm saying? So for me, mentorship really, really, really helped. And also a relationship with God, prayer. These days, we are lazy to pray. These days, especially artists, we pray at church. That's it. We don't have prayer in our own personal space, which is something that I do. I still pray. I don't pray because I'm holy. I don't pray because I'm better. I pray because I need to, how can I put it, consolidate my relationship with God. That's how you do it, through prayer. You get what I'm saying? I do fast sometimes, and when I fast, I'm teaching my body discipline. I'm teaching my body self-control. So fasting is not just for spiritual benefit, but it's also for physical benefits. So for me, also pray and believe in yourself, and also just put your whole trust in God. One of the things that I always like to say, especially when I speak to upcoming gospel artists, is that I studied the life of David. And David was anointed at the age of 15. He was anointed as king at the age of 15. So he already knew that I'm king. You get what I'm saying? But he was only appointed 15 years later. He was only appointed at the age of 30. And this is what I'm going to say. The fact that you are anointed does not mean that you are appointed. Which is what, in the gospel industry, that is the biggest challenge. We have a lot of, I can say, gospel ministers, or that is chosen to be artists, that are anointed, but they went in before their appointed time.
That's power.
Easy. So the fact that you are anointed does not mean that you are appointed. You have to wait for your appointment time. Go through the training, go through the pruning. You need to be pruned. Your character needs to be developed. And when you are ready, that's when you will be appointed. When you meet your appointment time, you won't struggle in the industry. You won't struggle for anything. And I think that is one of the lessons that I also learned personally. Because I was anointed back then. I thought, I'm anointed. Everyone is like, yeah, you know, when you sing, I cry. When you sing, you see people crying, you see people falling. You're like, I'm anointed. Let me go and be an artist. You see, and I think that's why I had those 9 years that yielded no results, because it was not yet my appointed time. Yes, the anointing was there, but I was not yet appointed. It was not my appointed. When my appointment time came, everything fell into place. I was giving up. I thought, this is the last album and all of that. But because it was the right time, it was the appointed time for me now to be in the ministry, everything just fell into place. So for me, that would be my biggest advice, to say the fact that you are anointed does not mean that you are appointed. Wait for your appointment time. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Dakindo. There's no way you can continue with that. We've learned that you don't just give up. Before you give up, you give it another shot.
Yes.
And at the times is thinking that, your 9 years, your 10 years, you've given it all your power, but maybe you just need to simplify everything. And in the simplification, that's where everything comes in. Not every call that comes you have to take. Some of these calls, just make sure that you ignore, you remember, the discipline. And this one that you've just finished with is the most powerful. And I think that someone needs to really take very seriously, for myself as well, is that just because you have the anointing, just because you are anointed, actually a lot of us were anointed even before 15 years, maybe 10 years. But appointed time may come 20 years later. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Evolution Lounge with Themba Ndala. Today we're our guest, and I hope you will have some nuggets to take with and learn one thing or two. Stay focused. Ladies and gentlemen, Psalmist Dakindo, thank you so much for coming through. We really appreciate you.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
All the best with another 50 years, to go in the space.
I receive it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. This episode was brought to you by Anama Studios, Utlwa, app, just go to the App Store, iStore and Google Play to download the Utlwa.App. We are at Anama Studios in Midrand, so if you want to do your podcast and you feel like you have something to say, please check Anama Studios, anamaproduction.co.za. Thank you so much.
I got champion DNA. Yeah. Turn my worries